Hi, Olympic gold medalist Lauryn Mark here again for Go Shooting. In an earlier video I discussed the stock dimension of drop and I briefly touched on what is called a Monte Carlo stock. Today I want to elaborate on this type of stock a little more. First, a little bit of history about the Monte Carlo stock. It was invented by Australia's most famous bushranger Ned Kelly during the infamous siege and shootout at Glenrowan in 1880. Ned had such an addiction to Arnott's Monte Carlo biscuits that he cut the top of his gun stock away so he could rest a couple of his favourite snacks between the top of his recoil pad but below the comb of his gun. Now I'm sorry I don't have a Snyder Enfield .577 rifle to demonstrate this more properly with, but this little indentation here allowed Ned to stick his favourite Monte Carlo biscuit right behind the comb of his gun, and while he stuck the barrel out the window at the Glenrowan Hotel, he could never lose sight of what the police were doing while they were shooting at the building, and of course he could just have his snack without losing sight of what was going on. Of course this didn't end really well for Ned. From there of course the Monte Carlo stock was developed. Okay, that's all bullshit, you got me. This is really what happened. The Monte Carlo stock was born right here. Truly, right there on the site of Monte Carlo's most famous casino was the world's most prestigious shooting range. For well over 100 years, Monte Carlo was the place to be seen. And of course, the English gun manufacturer Webley and Scott designed the Monte Carlo stock. Monte Carlo's famous live pigeon shooting range was the first place Webley and Scott first used these stocks. Back then, it was on their side-by-side shotguns. Now, this come about for two reasons. Now, back in the early 19th century, this was the position the shooter used when he called pull to ask to have the pigeon released in the air. The Monte Carlo stock aided a very quick gun mount to your face to quickly shoot the bird. Second of all, when pigeons are being shot at with a guy with a couple of ounce and a quarter load of number 6 shot in it, they sometimes tend to rise very fast. The higher comb that the Monte Carlo stock offered also offered a higher point of impact, which soon proved beneficial in shooting these fast rising birds before they made their 16-yard boundary. So finally, what exactly is a Monte Carlo stock? This is a real typical example. It's perfectly suited for people with longer necks, and it's typically identified by this cutaway here behind the comb. It allows the head to remain upright whilst keeping the recoil pad completely on your shoulder. This cutaway can be anywhere from 5mm down to 50mm or even more. It depends on your body size and your cheekbone structure. A traditional trap stock will have about 10mm of drop between the point at the comb and the heel. A Monte Carlo generally has a parallel comb, and by that I mean parallel to the barrel line of your gun. But not always. There are plenty of skeet and sporting shooters that like just a little bit of drop, even in their Monte Carlo stocks, between the front and the back of the comb. The Monte Carlo stock is popular with not only trap shooters, but also with many big caliber rifle shooters. The parallel comb will stop what they call cheek slap, which you'll have when the stock is dropped from front to back with a sharp decline. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a multi-purpose shotgun with an adjustable stock like this Beretta Silver Pigeon, you can easily change the comb of the gun from the traditional sporting configuration, where you'll have 20mm of drop from the comb to the heel, to simply lifting the stock up like this, tightening one of these two screws at the back, leaving the front low. Now you've got a traditional Monte Carlo stock. I'm certainly not suggesting that this type of stock configuration will be perfect for everybody, but if you're struggling to put the butt of the gun on your shoulder correctly or get the comb underneath your cheekbone, or even if you're dropping your head just so little that you're not looking through the middle of your eyes, then the Monte Carlo stock may be worth trying. From all of us here at Go Shooting, I hope you've enjoyed watching this little video. As always, we look forward to seeing you at the range real soon.